So, good morning, folks. Apparently I have something called rosacea, which causes this redness on the nose, and I've spoken to a pharmacist about it, and apparently honey fixes it, so I'm going to give that a go. Sometimes it's up here, sometimes it's down there, sometimes it's sort of like lessons and mornings, but apparently it is common with people of Viking and Celtic heritage, so that's what that is. I thought I had Nile River nasal aids or something like that. You go on the internet, that's what you make. You type in red at the end of my nose, and they tell you you're practically going to die. So anyway, rosacea, interesting. I never even heard of it. Anyway, charisma again. Now, the parable of Midas, King Midas, and his Midas touch. You know that parable. He wanted everything that he touched to turn to gold, and it became a curse. He went to hug his daughter, and she turned to a gold statue. Well, this is the dangers of charisma. Now, in magical practice, the thing is self-development. When you develop yourself as a person, your psyche starts to generate a larger field around your nervous system. So your nervous system projects further. You're developing charisma, a powerful charisma. This is what gives people, they say, the it factor, And people people are attracted to your personality, they're attracted to you, they like being around you. You make them feel good, you make them feel positive, and that's what that's all about. You build your charisma and you push it out. And when you have a charisma, you don't do things like get people to feel sorry for you to that way. You don't have a sympathy grift. You don't run smear campaigns. You just are who you are, and people find that attractive. And they want to be around. They want to hear you talk. They want to listen to you. And most people can do this. But the thing is that it requires an element of self-autonomy, and many people are terrified of being alone in themselves. It's a big, huge problem in the world. They always need to be completed by some other awful Tom Cruise film, "You Complete Me." That was almost like a black magic course. Any woman that says to me, "You complete me," my bags are packed and I'm gone. But or any man that says it to you, run a mile. But because you should be completing yourself. Anyway, so when you have charisma that's stronger than the normal person, you find yourself in a state of passive conjuration, which means that the things you want, that you need, come easier to you. They come easier to you. And the people you need in your life to help you or to make you happy come easier to you. And it's and you don't even have to sit down and think, "Oh, I've got to do spells, or I've got to, invoke some angel or something, whatever, to try and improve my life." It happens by osmosis. It happens by itself, and that's what that book, The Secret, in many ways was the truth. I mean, that they simplified things, so it wasn't going to work just by doing The Secret, but the basic underpinning of The Secret is true, and you must. And you build up your charisma, and a lot of it has to do with not worrying about things and not fretting about things, and not trying. And a big, huge part, one of the ways, if you want to deplete your charisma, what you should never try to do is change other people. If you try to change other people or modify other people for your benefit, it will backfire on you like you will not believe. You have to kind of leave people alone, because a huge amount of psychic energy is wasted on that you need for yourself. And it's also not your job to change another human being. It's also another thing is not to, like I tell people, don't get involved in the news media and worrying about it. Like they're now shoving the Syrian thing down people's throats. Don't go, unless you have family and friends in Syria, don't care. That's like what the whole thing in the Middle East is. It's a distraction to pull your psychic energy away from where your own, like, for instance, everything from all my life growing up, even mainstream and alternative, Israel, Palestine, Middle East, Jordan, Syria, Iraq, Iran, Israel, Palestine, Israel, Lebanon, always get people from our focus on that part of the world, right? And even in the alternative thing, oh, we got to help the Palestinians, we got to help the Palestinians. Unless you're related to them, it's not your fucking fight, okay? As simple as that. Doesn't mean you don't care or if someone's hurt or anything like that, but it's not your fight. You're taking sides in a war. That's not your people. Therefore, you've not only taken energy away from yourself, you've taken energy away from your own country, your own tribe, and your own community to focus on the Middle East. No one ever thinks of that. That's why I couldn't give a shit about, like, people say to me, oh, Israel and Palestine. I don't give a fuck. Don't need one of those countries. I'm not, that's their business, not mine. I'm not going to interfere in that. My country has, my community has immediate needs. And it's very easy for you have these people who go on, oh, I'm fighting for the Palestinians. That's because you don't give a fuck about the people in your own country. Also, they also know there'll be no resolution of that, right? So it's you'll always have that. It'll never be resolved. But you can always play on people's sympathies and heartstrings, this kind of thing. And the same, it's always Middle East, all my life, Middle East. And as a result, you take from yourself, you rob from yourself, okay? Save that psychic energy for yourself. That's why, you ever notice, like, people who are community activists, they're always the biggest arseholes? You ever notice that? I'm a community activist. I'm an activist. And the word activist is just another word for asshole in many cases. Now, I'm not talking about someone who has, like, an immediate thing, like they start fracking in their backyard. That's a big deal. You should stand up for things like that. But, like, going to join, like, these rent-a-crowd professional protesters that go around every year and then upload pictures of them being arrested on Facebook to show what heroes they are. They're all assholes. They're always fucking assholes. Then you don't want to be around them. Well, that's lack of charisma. They've thrown all the charisma away on things they can't change. And diverted other people's charisma away on things they can't change. But you can change yourself. You can change your own life. You can do immediate things in your own immediate circle. And that's how you build up your charisma. Now, then when your charisma is strong, you're in a state of passive conjuration, where things you need come to you, where people you need come to you, where help you need comes to you, where genuine affection comes to you. As opposed to someone wanting to fuck you or something like that. It's genuine affection. And that's great. But you also have to be careful then that you're very careful on how you use that passive charge. Because after that, you can have laissez-faire conjurations. And laissez-faire conjurations can be like the Midas touch. You might get things that happen that you didn't want to happen. Like, you might attract a person that you might have been attracted to, and it turns out that they're a lunatic or something like that. Or you have to be very careful, and you can't get rid of them. You have to be very careful that some person that things like that, like you might need money, but you might get it from a dubious source. Like, for instance, you might win the lotto. Now, when you win the lotto, unless you do something immediately right away with that money, that's bad money, because you didn't do anything to earn it. So if you win the lotto or win a load of money or get a big inheritance, you immediately have to put that into work, convert that into work, invest in something, start a business, so it's immediately generated back into the currency, the field of currency. Otherwise, it's dead stagnant money, and it will damage you in somehow. That's why you have to be very careful. The passive conjuration is that things come to you when you need them, when you build your charge and your charisma. The laissez-faire conjuration is not is when you just say, oh, I've got a great life. It's gifted. Everything comes to me. Look how many Hollywood stars and stuff sort of fallen because of things like that. So, and also you don't want to be a wanker, because then what happens is, if you have passive conjuration, you have to show gratitude for that. If you don't show gratitude for it and you just say to yourself, oh, I'm Jack the Lad, I'm hot shit, and then you'll produce laissez-faire conjuration. And then you could be in a position where you have no control over what's manifesting around you. And then that's when things go out of control. But the important thing is, very important, when people say ego, the Western idea of an ego is not the same as the Eastern mystical idea of an ego. The Westerners think that having a big ego is showing off and thinking you're hot shit. That's totally fine within Eastern philosophy. The thing is that you can only act like you're hot shit if you are hot shit. That's why people like Bruce Lee talking about he's the best and everything. He was the best, and so was Muhammad Ali. So that was only narcissistic kind of egoism in the Western sense. In the Eastern sense, they would say he's a man who achieved great things. That's good. So, and then they were exploding with charisma, both those men. So that's the important thing. So build up your charisma by not throwing your psychic energy away on frivolous people with their frivolous lives, foreign news stories in foreign parts of the world you can't do anything about. Build up your charisma. When your charisma is built up, when you're working on yourself, that includes shadow work, then you begin to develop that charge. Your nervous system expands out further. You begin passive conjuration. It starts off in small ways, little things you need. Be very careful you don't have laissez-faire conjuration, then it's out of control. The way you stop it from getting out of control is when you have gratitude for all the things that come into your life, and that's how that works, and that's very, very important. You build up your charisma, but you don't let your charisma run out of control, because then you get the Midas touch.